I say it's a personal relationship because it's very similar to the relationship you have with your brothers, your parents, your partner, where you spend time discovering what do you all have in common. You spend time afterwards creating goals that you have as a family. What's the family's goal in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? What is your goal with your partner in the next 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years? This is what and where the relationship is cemented, where it gets really strong. And this is the real takeaway from any relationship you're going to have. And that's why it has to be personal. So, we want to create partnerships. The two companies sit, they draw out a very long MOU, and this is the draft of which, this is the plan, this is the roadmap that they're going to use to get to where they're going. The, the power of relationships is about in its being personal. Your business relationships are reflections of your personal relationships. Yes, companies want to create business relationships, individuals want to create business relationships, but a company is on a piece of paper, it's a building. So how can a company create a relationship with another company unless it's between the two people who run these companies, the individuals that work within these companies? This is where the real relationship is struck up. This is where the relationship is built. And therefore, the relationship is personal. Your relationship with your customers, with your business partners, is personal, and it depends on how much you are willing to share with them and learn from them what their needs are. So this requires a lot of conversation, a lot of personal conversation. What are they about? What do they want? What do they want to achieve? What are their goals? If you can relate to those things, you then start to strike up a relationship. Because now you would have to say, what are your goals? What do you want? Where would you like to be? And then we begin creating a symbiosis, and therefore we actually have a personal relationship. This roadmap is personal because it's not where the building is going, where the paper is going, but where the individuals want to take these companies. Each company's lifeblood is its employees, the people walking along the corridors, the people executing. This is the real bloodstream of the company. And now we are trying to inject into the bloodstream, or we're trying to share the blood with another part of the body. These companies need to come together and create one organism. And therefore, the one thing the organism now shares is the drive, the passion, and the goals of all of the individuals. As long as the companies continue to be that vehicle for the goals of these individuals, as long as these companies continue to nest and harbor and build up these individuals on either side, you now have a real partnership and a collaboration. So this is where the partnership is built. It's on a personal level. The managers have to relate to each other on a personal level. Let's take an example. Two managers, one, a company X is supplying company Y, and in return, company Y is going to share their market abroad to company X. So one side of the company has a product that the next side of the company needs and uses for their business, and in return, they're going to share a market. The managers who do this have to become friends. They have to build a relationship, that they understand each other, that they understand their work patterns, that they understand their language, so that when they speak, they can have brief conversations, they can have long conversations as necessary, but regardless to which conversation, the essence of the conversation brings a successful meeting, whether it's a long meeting, it's a short meeting, because they understand that language. Understanding the language somebody speaks does not come if we only speak once a month, or we send a short email, or we just send across the PowerPoints, or we just send across the Excel sheets. It is about we talk enough so that you understand where I'm at, you understand where I'm going, you know what motivates me, and therefore your response can be along those lines, and then we start to have this relationship that keeps building. That sometimes I can start a process knowing that you would like this process also, and you would be in harmony with the process because I know you. You know me. You know that even though the process starts in the water and you're not a water person, this is why I'm telling you that the process is going to come on land, and then you're going to join in and we're going to dance together. So we begin to see that it's business, but business is always personal. If we look around the world, we can see a number of pictures where Bill Gates is sitting with another leader and they're having a casual lunch, a casual meeting. Microsoft is not even partnering with them on any project at this point in time. But there's a reason they're having this casual lunch every month or so, because they need to keep building the relationship. They need to keep building the trust in that relationship. In building the trust in that relationship, they know that when I don't see you for 2 months, I already have an understanding. You have hinted, you have pointed directions you are going to go. I know where you're headed with this. I know I am not going to ever be involved for a year, but I can now watch it happening and have confidence that I know my partners are building something and they would like me to join in 2021 and 2022. Understand, if we take out this communication, this personal aspect, you are now sitting, as right now you're sitting in Nigeria, and you're wondering, where's Sheldon's company going? What are they doing? I thought that, we were friendly. I thought we had a relationship. And it seems that they're sitting now and talking with China, and we don't know what they're talking about. Those things happen in personal relationships, and this happens in business. If we were not speaking regularly, if you don't know where my end goals were, then if you see me talking in China, then you're thinking, my gosh, he's going to move his manufacturing there. He's going to take his product from there. He's signing a contract, because we hear his people going there. We see him having conferences there, and we don't know. And knowledge of what I am doing, knowledge of me, if you had that knowledge prior, then you won't have now these fears. You won't be now getting your guys ready and saying, hey, we need to ramp up this or ramp up here or look for another supplier because we see Sheldon in China. You would have known that I said I wanted to go to China, I wanted to talk to China, and you would have known what I wanted to talk to them about. You would have probably even volunteered to help me with that conversation because you have had a previous conversation. So we are seeing where it is important that we understand the language. We have enough conversations so that we both know that we are both climbing the mountain from different angles, but we'll meet halfway up to continue going up the mountain. Partnerships sometimes seem that they're headed in different directions, and it's the constant conversations that understand that yes, we both want to get to the top of the mountain, but the collaboration that is going to take us up is going to happen in 6 months, or maybe it's a collaboration now, and then we both venture off on separate paths, and then we'll meet again in 3 years to now put together the two things that we want to do. That conversation, that collaboration can only be done if the relationships are personal. The relationships need to be personal in terms of the relationships need to be deep. It's not a casual relationship where once in a while I get an email. The reason there's WhatsApp for business is proof of this concept. Let's go deeper into the WhatsApp concept, WhatsApp for business. Originally, WhatsApp was a tool where we would talk to our friends, we would say, let's meet, let's hang out. We would use WhatsApp for this. So why did WhatsApp now have WhatsApp for business? Because to do business, you need to also chat regularly. You need to also share the photo regularly. Because you would feel much more confident if doing business with Sheldon, if Sheldon sent a picture of his daughter graduating. This would now tell you, Sheldon trusts me. Sheldon would really like to be my friend. And a person who really trusts you and really wants to be your friend is not going to stab you in the back in business. You can feel comfortable going home to your family or in your business meeting saying, Sheldon shared a graduation photo with his daughter. This tells the whole board, or this tells your whole family, that the person you're doing business with trusts you. And there's no commodity in business that has more value than those 5 letters, trust. The person trusting you means everything. And this is what WhatsApp for Business gives us. It gives us a platform where we can share a call between 3 or 4 or 5 people, and that we can share casual things within our day, regardless of where we are, the timing we are, etc. So, Yinka may have shared with me some celebration with the family. And I now understand that for her to share that, she considers me a trustworthy person, a person that should be in the know. She wants to share her success with me. And this is somebody now that I would have her back. I would not have bad things to say about somebody who does that for me, who does that with me, who is that open to me. And I would not think, she's sending work that should come my way some other way because of the amount of communication we have built up and the trust we are building up in this seeming to be a personal relationship. Too often we take business to mean that we are only sitting around a table and talking numbers. The numbers in business are exchanged between the accountants. They are told we are doing business with X company or Y company, but that is after there is a relationship. So the numbers are never that really important in the first place. Yes, the numbers are important because we want to do a successful business, we want to make money, but also we want to create a partner. We may be able to help them fix their numbers, and that can happen 2 months from now, a year from now. But before we can even get into helping with the numbers, we have to become their friend. We have to become their partner. If you want to see how important the friendship part of the business is, we can take a look at the US and China. Barack Obama is gone, and now the leader of the US does not believe in trust and friendship. And now we have a really, we don't really have trade. We have a war trade going on rather than a friendly trade. And both sides are feeling the brunt of doing business without trust, without communication, and without real collaboration, because both sides now distrust each other. Much of the world will feel the brunt of doing business like that. That way of doing business has, I think the world knows now that that is not how you do business. We cannot do business. We can't collaborate without the trust, without the communication. It is a personal thing. It may seem impersonal or seemed impersonal when business was done only via brick and mortar. This is a great example of doing business and collaborating across the world in the present state of the world, in our present society, with the technology we have. Presently, I am in the Caribbean and I am speaking to you. I am exchanging with you. We have started to do business officially as of 10 o'clock your time, 5 o'clock my time. This would not be possible. This collaboration, this business arrangement, this partnership would not be possible without the words that I would keep repeating: trust. After this, we would have built a relationship. Everyone on this call, everyone in this conference would have built confidence. We would now be ready to do business. We would now be able to collaborate because we would now have trust. We would now have trust because even though we're in different time zones of the world, totally different places, we have had the opportunity to exchange candidly and honestly one aspect of life. We would have now done business as if I were in Nigeria or if all of you flew to here and we sat down by a table. But if we did it that way, then we would be there would be a lot more barriers because everyone would come in their suits and their business clothes with their briefcase. And now we have to break down the ice to get past the business suits, etc., to get to the person. Here it is, we don't know how we are dressed, etc., and we can more candidly relate to each other honestly and be open and say what we feel because we don't have those barriers that are those barriers that are put up by the outfits we wear, etc., that we are told we need to do business with. This is where WhatsApp, a personal tool, is one of the best business tools that there is presently. WhatsApp allows you to be you. I can't see what you have on, but you're wearing something that makes you feel comfortable. And while you're comfortable, you're more receptive to a message. It allows you to bring across a candid message. Your daughter may get up, your son, your brother, whoever can come, they can be around you. You can put your daughter in your lap and listen to this and have this go on. Whereas in the normal things, it couldn't happen because we have to sit in a boardroom. But this allows you to be comfortable, more receptive, build a better rapport, build a better relationship. Because you didn't have to lose anything, time with loved ones, etc. Not necessarily to have this. You could have sat in the middle of it and have listened to it, and you're still there with them. You can run to the kitchen to get something to eat, something to drink. You can do all of this while we're having this discussion. Now, how the partnerships, collaborations are going to help your business. Again, I am not into dollars and figures always add up and get better if everything is working better, if the machine is better oiled, if everything is flowing better. So this is where collaborations help. If tomorrow we decided that we were going to build a new plane and we were only using my idea, this plane would have a lot of limitations, especially because I am not an aerospace engineer. But if we take all of us, and every one of us brought back feedback on the plane that I offered, now we would start to see the plane being better equipped. It would probably be, the more women we have, is more friendly the plane is going to be, the more space it's going to have, because women see that side of things a lot better than men. We would have a lot more engineering input. We would have a lot more customer service input because we have this many people looking on. The more people input we have, I know a lot of people don't like input, don't like 15 people answering them, but they are very smooth ways to get across a survey and to find out what people think. Why collaboration is better than a survey is because a survey, somebody's just doing it and they tick the boxes or they write what they feel. Collaboration means inclusiveness. You give better feedback on anything that you're involved in, that you feel you're a part of. That when I finish give this feedback, somebody's going to come to me and say, hey, look, this is the feedback, general feedback we have. This is the way to go forward. And I am a part of it going forward. So I would care about this project because I am a part of this project going forward. The end result of this project is going to have my signature on it. So I'm going to put forward my best. I'm going to give my best views. I am going to do my best because this is eventually going to be part of my legacy. And this is why you collaborate to get better ideas, to get stronger ideas. And this is where partnerships come in. Because it's not going to be Yinka's idea or Sheldon's product when it's done. It's our product. So at the end of this session is going to be our session. So the value of this session, the worth of this session, the productivity of this session comes from all of us at the end of the day. At the end of this whole conference you guys are having over 2 days, the value of it comes from each and every one of you. So the view of every one of you in the input of this, when you're finalizing this, is going to be very key. This is going to be important. What you all think about the speakers is going to be very important. Do we want back this speaker? Do we want to work with this speaker on something else? Would we like to collaborate with this person in some other business venture? But that decision can't be made if you all are just filling out a form. That decision is going to be a great decision if you all have approached that decision as this is something that I am in, so I want it to be best. And that is what a partnership is. Everyone has a vested interest So everyone gives their best feedback and puts their best work forward because we understand the goal down the road. The importance of having people vested in it instead of a survey is if I know I have to do, if we just take building a house and we just had somebody say, tell us what you think would be the best foundation. Everybody would say A, B, C, or D. That may not be the choice they would make if they had to live in that house. Which is where partnerships and collaboration is better than asking somebody to get a survey for you on what customers may like. If it is we have to live in the house, now we are thinking about what foundation we want, what type of flooring we want, what windows we want. This is a whole different mindset than if I sent 5 pictures and said, which house do you like? If I send 5 pictures and said, which house are we going to live in together? Now you would need more information. Now you would ask about the roof, about the space of the rooms, about the quality of the walls, about the yard space. You would have a whole lot more questions versus the first time when I said, tell me what you think about this house. Does this house look good to live in? This changes your perspective. This changes your depth in looking at it. This changes your feedback. Because this is the house we are going to live in versus is this house good to live in? You can pick out 5 different areas in and around you and say, yeah, those are good areas to live in if you're asked the question. But if I said, this is where you are going to live, the answer is not that forthcoming quickly because you have to really think about what you are going to live in. And this is really, really key. So this is why partnership. A partnership means we are invested. We are who's going to build this, are going to have to live with it, are going to put our name on it. This is going to be our legacy. So all of a sudden, the quality that we put into the thought, into the work, is so much more higher. Because of the greater quality, you find there's a lot more strength in the product offering. There's a lot more strength into the quality. And there's a lot more strength into marketing. And also now we have a better strength in feedback to the customer. Because we have 15 people saying, this may go wrong, and this is what I would say. Versus if we take only one person in this group today and said, you give the answers to customers saying they don't like it, you're going to have a limited view and scope. If we have 16, 20, 30 views and scopes on customer feedback, we would now probably cover every type of customer and customer feedback and customers saying no. We would now have answers for those questions. We would now have a way to turn around rebuttals and make no's yeses, because every one of us thinks a different way, would react a different way, would be more sensitive to different things, would like different things. Different words would make all of us say yes, and different words will turn off all of us. So now we can take out the words that turn off the most people, include the words that people like, and we can have a better customer service feedback on this one product. It cannot just be what John said, because John has this type of view. If John is a fisherman and John is giving us feedback on a burger, which is made of beef, then John's feedback is automatically skewed. John's feedback is only going to be fish oriented, and this is why we needed Karen or Susan and James to also have an input into the product. If we used John, we would be automatically always only having feedback on fish. That would weaken our product, that would weaken our feedback model, our feedback loop, and therefore we would basically have a weaker version of it. If you think of how Yinka has put this out, you're getting feedback, you're being lectured basically by someone from the Caribbean. My worldview is going to be different from yours, different from someone else, different from someone from China. So this is a whole different worldview in terms of how to do business, relationships, collaborations, and it's going to now really enhance what you want. It's going to make you think a lot more about everything that is said because it's being given from a different perspective. To wrap up this morning's session, I'd like to recap a couple of things. The main things, in my opinion, when you're speaking about partnership relationships, collaboration for successful business. The importance of the relationship. Make your business relationships personal. It is personal because it's important to you as a person and it's important to them as a person. It's important to you as a person because everyone who works for you, works around you, that you're in charge of making this business successful because it's going to help their welfare. It has to be personal to you because the people who work for you are called your personnel. And if that is your personnel, then this thing has to be personal in some way. Besides it being your business, it is important to your personnel, so it is personal. Make it warm, make it friendly, make that thing personal, and you will see growth. You won't have employees leaving and recycling or have a revolving door, and nothing strengthens a business like having the same people stay on board because they know how it started, how it got to where it is, and they all feel very proud about it and invested. The next main point number 2, would be collaboration. Point number 2, collaboration. Collaboration is going to give you many eyes and ears and feedback, and that way you have a greater range to choose from, to incorporate, to put out your product. Whether it's a product or a service, you now have a lot more to say about your product and service, a lot more things to to fix rebuttals, a lot more ways now to get customers to agree, to get customers to understand, to upsell a customer. That whole collaboration effort is really necessary. Of course, it can only take place when everybody understands a personal aspect of it and is invested in it. But that type of collaboration is only going to strengthen your backbone, which means every time the customer pushes back, you fall on a nice, comfortable mattress and can get up and give an answer every time, no matter where on the world stage. If you're collaborating and you're collaborating with different people across the world, then you know how to address every area of the world. For example, if you wanted to have a Caribbean product, a tourism product, you're talking with Sheldon, and Sheldon knows exactly what that feels like. He can ask 15, 100, 1,000 people here what they think of this product, and then he can give you that feedback. And that way, because of the collaboration, you didn't have to source people from the Caribbean and have to pay some Caribbean entity to run a survey for you, which is costly. Hey, I have a partner, I have a friend, a business friend in the Caribbean, Sheldon. I can ask him to get that information for me. It even costs you less money to get it done. Point number 3, that a partnership extends your reach and strengthens your product. We started to talk about that at the end of part number 2. A partnership, one, does not have to mean that we are going to build something or do something today. You can say, hey, let me create a partnership with Sheldon just by exchanging emails, asking some questions, etc. over the rest of the year. We're not actually doing a business yet. But 2021 comes around and now you have a tour business. 2021 comes around and now you're into oil. Our country has a decent amount of oil. 2021 comes around and you're into sport. Sheldon is deep into sport. So now you have a ready-made partner for your business just because you created that relationship even prior to having the idea or getting into the business. It also gives you strength because in those conversations prior, you could have said, hey, tell me about this. Do you know about this? Can you find out about this? Sheldon, who do you know in India? Have you ever done business in India? And therefore, Sheldon's contacts, Sheldon's friends become your friends without you having to try to reach out to India, to the US, to the Caribbean. These people have now been added into your circle because you're going to get a direct invitation to them. You're going to have somebody mediate your initial contact with them. You're going to have someone who can say, I trust this guy, I trust this girl. And immediately, new worlds, new opportunities are going to be opened up to you. Someone who is walking your service or product into a door that you did not know existed. This is why it's important that your business partnerships, collaborations, relationships be personal. This is when you do this, you would have people telling you, hey, I think you should meet this person. And they are sure about it because they trust you. So they are not afraid to tell their contact, you should speak to Yinka because I trust her, because I've done business with her, or maybe I've met her at a conference and we have never lost contact since then. And I know this person is trustworthy. You should talk to her. You should talk to him and get your business done and push your business through this channel. This is how important these things can be. This is how important business is on a personal level, partnerships, relationships, and collaboration. I thank everyone for allowing me to be a part of this. This has been a wonderful experience. I have been telling a lot of people where I live in the Caribbean that I'm going to be doing this. So a lot of people were actually excited about it to get on board. Uh, we are African people that have been separated from the continent. I have a few friends on the continent through football. I'm a former athlete and national athlete. So I have friends. I have two friends from Nigeria that I've sort of lost contact with. This is before the social media age. But we have always been interested in working with uh, people from the motherland. Nigeria is a very popular and famous place to us. So again, thank you very much for having me, for listening to me. I hope I remain in contact with this group for the next 20 years, even if it's just to have another talk with you all, or you listen in to another conversation. I hope that we maintain and build on this relationship that we have started on this morning. I wish everyone blessings on their journeys and whatever it is they plan to do. I am always here. I would react to anybody sending me a message, sending me an email. Thank you very much again for the time and the feedback that I was getting and the feedback I'm expecting to get. I would answer any questions now.